Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode.
This week's free episode.
Yeah.
You can check out the bonus episode over at patreon.com/The Froe Show.
Yeah, heaps of additional content over there, so check it out.
Go watch it.
Yeah.
Bye.
Hi, welcome to the episode 52 special. We had some technical difficulties with this episode. This is the second day that we've tried to record this episode, and we've had a bunch of technical difficulties with the audio and the mic and that sort of thing. So my mic cuts in and out a lot during this episode. We've done as much as we can to try to fix it and make the episode as good as it can be, but there are going to be some instances where it's just going to sound a little bit weird. So we've done our best. Thank you so much for supporting us over this year, and we hope you enjoy the episode 52 special.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Froe Show. My name is Frank Mankin, and I'm joined, as always, by my beautiful co-host, Joe Murray.
Hello, Frank.
Welcome to episode 52. This is our 1 year anniversary episode. Joe, really quickly, we don't have much time.
No.
But we have talked about what's behind this curtain for the whole year.
We have.
We've never showed it.
No.
And so now is the time for us
Today
to show
is the day.
what is behind the curtain.
Let's
Joe,
go.
do you want to grab one side?
Yep.
And 3, 2, 1.
1.
Oh, no. There we go.
That's what's behind the curtain.
Ah.
Hey,
Hello, Bessie.
All right.
We dragged all of that out here just for that gag. Just for that. That was
That was it.
that was
So
it.
that's episode 52.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
for
you so
coming.
much. It's been a great year. Is this gonna fall now? Now
I
that
really hope not.
it shouldn't, right?
It shouldn't. I'm worried. I'm worried.
I'm also rather worried. I wonder if this cow's gonna stay for the whole episode. When we were setting up, all of the cows came over and were just watching us while we were setting up.
Mm-hmm.
And we just were like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, okay.
Just hanging out.
We'll run with it.
So that was lovely. This is the second day we've tried to record this.
It is.
Because I'm so conscious of this background.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just like, I might actually really quickly.
Should we just lie it down?
I was just gonna wrap this around so that it can't get blown. Like that. There we go.
There we
Hello.
go.
Hello,
Hey,
cars.
car.
It's nice to see you. Hope you have a great day.
Oh yeah, and the camera's on the
Yeah.
other side of the road.
This is so dumb.
I love it. This is
is so
great.
dumb.
We should do
this
this
is-
every week.
No,
Oh.
this was too much effort. This is the second day that we've tried to film this episode.
Mm,
Yesterday we tried to go out, and it was completely pouring with rain.
it was.
Well,
Well,
there it goes. All right, cool.
awesome.
That was the backdrop.
Oh,
Oh man.
how good.
All right. Well, this is episode 52. We've been doing this show for an entire year.
Entire year.
And so we knew that we wanted to do something really special for this episode. And so we thought, what better than to take it out into the mountains of not super close to where I live, but close-ish.
No, close enough.
And so we're literally like way up in the mountains. Behind the camera is just this beautiful vista.
Mm.
And it's honestly much nicer than this direction. But this direction's the only way we can shoot.
Yeah.
So,
It's
but
just a
I'll
massive, like-
take a picture of it, and I'll put that over the top. There we go. Here's a guy coming on a motorbike.
goes a motorbike.
Hello, how you doing?
Awesome. I love it. How have we not done this before episode 52?
I know, this is great.
Yeah.
But in classic Froe Show fashion,
Uh-huh.
nothing went to plan.
No.
This is the fourth location we've been to today
Yeah.
to try and film this. It's not ideal.
What do you mean? Bessie's a great addition to the set.
Bessie's our guest for this episode.
I like it.
That's going to be the featured guest on this episode. It's going to
Yeah.
be featuring Bessie. Hello.
I didn't really realize how many cars would be going by.
Yeah, I also did not realize how many cars would be going past.
Because there was only 3 since we got
yeah.
here? Anyway.
Hello.
we're good.
How you doing?
Now I wish they'd stop. We can just have a chat.
Yeah, I kind of would like that as well.
Oh, well.
We don't have an extra mic for them though, but that's all right.
Yeah.
So yeah, a whole year of doing this show,
whole
Joe.
year.
How does that make you feel?
I honestly just can't believe it. I don't know if it feels like I've been doing it for more than a year or less than a year.
It feels like both at the same time.
It does, yeah.
So I put out on Instagram a questionnaire asking for people to send in their questions for us to answer, and we got a heap of responses. So
Yeah.
I've picked out a couple of the best ones.
Wait, I have a question before we start.
Oh, okay, yeah.
For you, Frank.
Yeah, hold on. We've got to
Oh,
do
we've
our
gotta-
we've got to do
we've
our
got
duties.
Hello,
Hello, how's it
for the
going?
locals. He wasn't as happy as
He was
others.
not very keen. No.
But so I talk about a lot that when we first started this, I was like, "Oh yeah, 3 weeks and we done."
Yeah.
Right? Did you think that we'd be doing this for an entire year when we started?
I don't really have future brain,
Right.
so not really, but also kind of, yeah. I didn't see myself not doing it,
Okay.
so
There you
that's
go.
fun. Like,
Good to
it's- especially after that first episode, I was like, oh yeah, right, we're gonna do this for a while.
Yeah, sick.
Yeah. What about you? You were just like 3
Well, yeah.
episodes, right? Yeah.
Until like episode 5, I was like, "Oh, maybe this will go for." It was kind of just being like, maybe this will be 20, and then once I get to like episode 30, I was like, "Yeah, this is just going to be for a long time."
We're just gonna keep doing this.
Yeah, I love it.
All right. Well, let's start with these questions. This one kind of comes in very nicely. So both Josh and Cammy have asked the same question.
Mhm.
What made you want to start the podcast? So I'll
Well-
rephrase that for you. What made you want to join the podcast?
Well, we'd been studying for a year. We hadn't really hung out for a whole year.
Yeah.
And for me, I guess it was a way to just, one, stay creative,
Yeah.
and two, just to like have an excuse to hang out with you every week
Aw,
Yeah.
you little cutie.
and be able to find time that we could hang out again.
Yeah.
Because in school we were like every day or two we'd see each other. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
And then, we graduated and there was no time left.
And we saw each other 4 times that year probably.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Which was just insane.
Yeah.
Insane. I wanted to start the podcast because, well, I first did my own podcast for like an episode,
Yeah.
and I realized I can't do this by myself because it's really hard. And I kind of always wanted a podcast and that sort of thing, and I always thought it'd be fun. It's a lot easier to get someone to talk to you with the premise of a podcast rather than being like, hey, can we get coffee so I can pick your brain or whatever. It's like, hey, do you want to come on the podcast? Because it's a
Yeah.
mutually beneficial thing rather than just beneficial for me.
Yeah.
That was my reasoning for starting the podcast.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a really cool reason.
Oh, we got a car
We
coming.
got another car.
They're probably pretty far away, hey.
They're at the top of the hill still.
All right.
What's your question?
Alicia asks, when can I be on the podcast?
There's a few people who ask me that question regularly.
There are a few people that ask me this question as well.
When can Alicia be on the podcast? That's probably more of a question for you.
She's already been on the podcast.
That's true, actually. She was in the room.
Ian, who was a prior guest of the podcast, that was episode 50. No, 49. That was episode 49.
That wasn't long ago.
He asks, who's the dream guest to have on the podcast and why? Who's your dream guest, Joe?
Oh, man. I remember us saying like Mel Gibson or something. Or no, Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Ages ago.
Yeah.
I reckon having some like big director would be sick to have on the show. Like Steven Spielberg or someone.
Yes, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because, well, I guess it's a good time to talk about the book that you gave me to read.
Yes. I gave you homework.
Yes, The Third Door by Alex Banyan. And it talks about, he interviews Steven Spielberg, and it talks about how he got into the film industry and how he got rejected from his film school and then, snuck into backstages and then ended up talking to different directors and producers and then worked his way up. So someone like that I think would be pretty cool to have.
That'd be really, really cool.
Yeah.
Is there another person coming, or do they just have a tractor there?
Oh, no, that's a tractor.
There's a tractor. Some guy's just mowing his lawn.
There you go.
That's cool.
How cool.
I reckon that'd be really cool, getting like a big director and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Having someone with that knowledge would be sick. My dream guest is Casey Neistat, hands down.
Oh, yeah.
That's 100% my tippity top of the list
Yeah?
of who I would love to have on the show.
You don't realize how much he does until, you watch some of his YouTube things and then he will talk about something else and you kind of explore different avenues and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You just fall down his rabbit hole of like crazy amounts of content.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely my dream guest.
Yeah. Interesting.
Oh,
I'm so glad those clouds came over.
oh
It was so hot.
it is very hard, I hear.
Going back to the last question, when can Alicia be on the podcast? Sorry, you kind of just jumped into the next one.
Apologies.
there's been someone, another family member of mine,
Uh-huh.
who I think you've met, but he's he makes jokes every now and then about him wanting to come on the podcast.
Yeah.
And his name's, I'll say his first name, Alex.
Oh, yeah.
Wes's sibling.
Yeah.
And he would love to come on the show. Would you be happy to have him?
Yes.
Yes?
Done.
Okay. Cool.
What does he do?
Nothing.
Oh.
He doesn't do creative industry.
Oh.
He just wants to be on the show.
We can call it. We can call him in for a segment.
I said that, but then he was like, no, it has to be a whole show.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let me sit on it. I'll have a think.
There you go. I'll show him this little bit, and we'll say we'll think about it for another 6 months.
And then he'll ask again. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're thinking about
Yeah,
it.
we've taken it into
Wow.
consideration. Well, they're moving.
It's
The
it's
cow
like
migration.
It's like the scene from Jurassic Park. They do move in herds. Bessie,
Where'd you go? Well, this one's
he's checking us out.
yeah. I don't know how much of the camera can see.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I can bring it wider or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks Ian for that question. Who's the dream guest?
Yeah, that is a
Um,
good question.
This one's from Ebony. What is your proudest achievement of the podcast?
I want to say there's two. There's two. One would be our first guest.
Yep.
And just how that happened.
Yep.
How we sort of, you just kind of asked, and then it was like, yeah, okay. It's like and then we spent the next week absolutely freaking out. And we had to scramble to buy a chair and all this sort of stuff. But probably getting an international guest, John from Chicago. That was probably my proudest moment.
So this one comes from Mixolydian Music Productions.
Oh, yeah.
Advice on how to keep motivated on creating even though the results are minimal.
That is a tough question.
Yeah.
That's a real question. For me, it's just you gotta find the form of creating that you love.
Yeah.
And it's got to be something that you can just continue doing.
Yeah.
Are
Have a
these
look?
guys gonna have a chat?
Maybe. It'll be interesting.
Maybe watch this tractor in your camera.
Yeah, watch them
Oh
go
no, maybe
past.
they're going down the gate there.
Yeah, maybe.
Don't know.
It's a nice tractor.
How you going? Just like completely takes it out. No, you're right. We just gotten in the way, maybe. I guess it's just easy to finding something you love and something that you can keep doing. Something that you're not doing for the exposure, I guess. Like to get really real and transparent, because that's what we want the show to be. It's tough sometimes to drive half an hour to your house and do the podcast. But I don't know. That's another thing that's easy to say and hard to actually do. That's also a thing, habit, and now it kind of just comes a whole lot easier to come with content to the show and to like keep doing it every week, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and like I said, it's if you're doing it for monetary gain, it becomes a lot more difficult.
Well, then it becomes like a 9 to 5.
Yeah,
And the reason why I do this is so I don't have to work a 9 to 5.
exactly. Yeah, my biggest motivation is, like I said with John, is I'm creating to meet people and to learn from them and to learn to be better creators because of them.
Yeah.
That's always been my motivation, rather than I'm creating just to make content. I'm creating to make money or whatever.
Yeah.
It's always been that that social aspect of it for me, of mentorship and learning from people. That's been my biggest motivator.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's a great question.
That-
I really like that.
I kind of want to think about that for a week or two and come back to it as well.
Yeah, that's a deep thinker. We might do
Yeah.
a whole episode on
Maybe.
that. Very odd.
I mean, I
placement of
get
stuff.
that.
Hello.
And two people sitting on the side of the road with microphones.
Just talking.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
What was the question?
What are
Future
some
goals.
future goals for the podcast?
Not letting that Vault episode get out until 12 months.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Look, apart from I'm not sure. Apart from getting bigger guests or getting a permanent set.
Yeah. I think not to hijack you, but I think our goals have changed a lot from numbers goals.
Yeah, and more content goals. Could you say that?
Yeah.
Oh, and quality goals as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just thinking about how loud that is in our mics. The tractor.
It should be fine, right?
Should be.
You can do it, mate. Come on.
Just got to put it in a lower gear. Yeah, that's a hard question, particularly when this has become a habit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have any specific future goals?
My goals used to be 1,000 subs, 10,000 listeners. But now I feel like the podcast is more an opportunity for us to learn from creators that are more advanced.
Yeah.
And to hear their experiences and talk with them and get their advice and their help for our production company as well.
Yeah.
So I see it more as a permanent opportunity rather than I see it as like a mine for the opportunity rather than the opportunity itself.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So my goals for the future of the podcast get not so much bigger guests, but guests that provide a lot of value.
It's been our goal for a long time.
Yeah.
That one. I like that. Yeah, it's hard to put down numbers goals now. But yeah, just to keep learning each week.
Yeah.
Is a goal for me, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether that's from you and what you talk about, because I do learn every week from you, and from guests, bigger guests.
Yeah.
People who have way more experience than us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quick wave. Here we go.
Hello. Oh, he waved first.
Oh, how good.
So
Yeah.
he was like,
Awesome. Love it. Love it.
that was great.
Thanks, dude. Made the episode.
All right, last question from Thea. What's been your least favorite thing about making the podcast?
Going back to episode 1, looking at it.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about making it. What was your least favorite part about making it?
That is a hard question. It has its moments throughout the week, throughout the months of, this week is a lot harder than next week. But honestly, when you were editing the whole episode, that was hard for me to leave you to that. I guess that sounds, I'm not trying to up myself, but yeah, it was difficult to be I made this with someone and here it is for you to fix it. And I guess that also ties back into the question of how do you keep motivated to keep creating. In some cases, it was easy to just push through, make it a habit, and find something about it. Find something to love about it.
Yeah.
But then we both went on holidays.
Yeah.
And the day we came back, we were both let's go. So don't be afraid to take a break.
Yes, and that's been my biggest thing as well, was taking that couple. Even it was just 4 days off that I took, but it was I came back. I was I was at the beach. I was up north in Queensland, and I was sitting at the beach, and I was I have all these ideas.
Yeah.
I almost went and bought a notebook because I was I need to write stuff down.
Yeah.
But just taking that time off is really difficult. But it's really necessary.
Yeah.
I think.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's the end of the Q&A stuff.
Yeah.
Those are the best questions that we got that I picked out.
Oh yeah.
I like them a lot though.
I like that.
There
Were good
there
questions.
were some really good questions in there. So thank
Good,
you
hard questions.
to everyone that asked some questions. If you have any more questions, feel free to comment them.
Yeah.
And we'll try and reply as best we can.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to quickly reset this camera.
I'm happy to take 5 and get a drink of water.
That's a good idea. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
And we're back.
And we're back.
Everything is hot. Everything is warm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm regretting wearing black pants and black shoes.
I'm regretting wearing a black shirt.
Yeah, I intentionally did not wear a black shirt. I almost
I didn't even think
I
about it.
almost did.
And I can see that I'm getting sunburnt. I bought multiple things this
Can we
week.
talk a little bit about that?
I can. Well, our interview or podcast with John just inspired me to buy FPV gear. And I'm going to tell you, the whole world of FPV is very, very daunting for a beginner. Not to throw anyone off, because I'm very excited to get my drone, but there is so much stuff. I started off by just looking at drones, and looking at whether I should build or buy one that's already built, and even if you're gonna build one, there are so many different avenues you can go down with, like what components you build, and like this little component, includes a bit of this, other one like computerized. You have ECU or something, which controls the amount of power that goes to your prop. And then you have a flight controller, and some flight controllers include ECUs, and some you need one ECU, some you need one for every prop, and and that's just the drone. So you got the drone, and then to run the drone, you need buy batteries separately, and they only ever last like 5 minutes, a battery. Just because of how much power the drone uses. And then you got the radio controller to fly the drone, and you got goggles so you can see where your drone's going. And I think that's all. Then you got to buy batteries for the controller. So that's what I ended up narrowing it down to for me. Yeah. But yeah, there is so much stuff out there. And particularly when you're looking to fly analog, which is what I ended up going with because it's just a slightly cheaper option to begin with. There's hundreds of different types of goggles, and you can choose a resolution that's slightly higher, all that kind of stuff. Ones that have bigger, there's mods for everything as well. So you can put a mod on your goggles that the range is then further. Same with your radio, and heaps and heaps of stuff. So I bought the iFlight ProTech 35 Cinewhoop drone. So it's sort of I think they called it like a racing Cinewhoop. So I better explain what all these terms are for people who don't know. Okay. A Cinewhoop is pretty much the drones that have like guards around their props. That's so that, if you hit something, it doesn't damage the drone as much and it doesn't damage the thing that you hit. So that's why often they would fly Cinewhoops indoors and like in really tight spaces, because they also are a lot slower and a lot easier to control. Right. Yeah. So I wanted to get one of them, but I also wanted a drone that I could just have fun with, right? So this drone that iFlight came out with also has like all this power capability that a lot of freestyle and racing drones have, or lower level racing drones have. So yeah, it's a pretty versatile little thing from all the reviews that I've seen and that. So that's what the drone that I got. And it's big enough so you can mount a full-size GoPro on it. I was debating getting the smaller drone, which is like 2 or 3 centimeters smaller and has the prop size is half the size or something. It's insane. But that can only really handle a naked GoPro. And I thought about pulling mine apart, but I'd rather not for my first drone or for my only GoPro that I have. So yeah, that's the drone that I bought. And then goggles. Let's talk about goggles. Oh man, there's so much. It's insane. But the goggles I went with, they're a lot cheaper than the normal, or the ones that you'd see most often. So they're about $150, and they're boxed goggles, so they're not the normal like sort of rounded ones that you see. Reason why I got them, they have 2 antenna mounts on them. So one and it comes with the antennas. So one is like forward directional antenna,
Mm-hmm.
and one is like a 360 one.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, it's pretty versatile. I'll get that. Also, I think you'll appreciate this. You can pull off the front of the goggles and it becomes a monitor.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is really cool.
Yeah. So it's got quite a big screen in it, and yeah, you can pull the front of it off and you can screw it to a tripod,
Oh.
and it's a monitor. So I got
You can
that.
fly it like that as well.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I got that to future-proof it because, one day if we're doing that, one of us can be flying and the other person can, tap into the same frequency and watch it on the monitor. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. It is cool.
So what's the advantage of having it as goggles and not as like a monitor?
The biggest thing is that it just cuts out all the light and you can see a lot more. Like you can see everything so clearly with the goggles.
Right.
I think that's the biggest thing, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So
Fair enough.
there's goggles and then controller. Again, there's one controller that most people fly. And this is another really confusing thing because controllers, the ones that they use are ones you can like use for planes as well. And
Right.
then, you can configure it to a plane. It's got all these different controls for different components of the plane.
Yeah.
Same with like a car or a boat or something. So there's one that like does everything and is about like $300, $250.
Yeah.
So I thought about that, but I ended up getting his little brother, which you can still do the same thing. It's just not quite as powerful as this one.
Right.
So
What do you mean by powerful?
not doesn't have as quite as much range, and
Right.
it's just not as doesn't have as many features.
Right. Fair enough.
With connectivity to planes and stuff and controlling of them.
Yeah.
But it's for any geeks out there, it's a Radio Master TX12 is the controller, and again, it's a little bit future-proof because we can connect it to new drones if we get new drones. But yeah.
Nice.
It's insane, the world of FPV.
Yeah. Well, that kind of sets the stage for the next year for us as well.
Mm.
There's going to be a lot of FPV stuff.
Yeah, hopefully. Do you want to talk about your slightly new developments?
Yeah,
in
that's
that?
what I was leading into.
Yeah, cool. Sorry. Kind of took that away from took that good segue away from you.
It's okay. So, yeah, Joe's been doing all of this FPV stuff. And while Joe's been doing that, I've been, putting my feelers out into the world of, well, I should start from the start. I've been doing rock climbing for about 6 months now, specifically bouldering.
Yes.
And I've gotten really into the community, and I've taken some pictures, and I made a video for a competition recently. And so I spoke to Joe the other day, and I was saying, well, I think there's a really good niche here for people that, do climbing, and they want videos of themselves climbing, and they want videos of the people they climb with climbing, and comp videos, and, ad videos for all of these companies that make all this climbing gear.
Mm-hmm.
There's a really good niche of people that specialize in that stuff. So Joe's been figuring all this FPV stuff out, and I've been figuring out how I can be better at taking photos and taking videos at climbing. So
Yeah.
I've done all this research, and I've found all this gear that I need to buy, and I'm essentially, it's boiling down to the fact that I need to be at the same level or slightly better than most of the people that I'm going to be taking pictures and videos of.
Yeah.
So, because it's either going to be, I'm either going to be leading in the climb, which is basically I'm doing it first and people are following me, or I'm going to abseil from the top down. So, either way,
Yeah.
I have to have all my own gear, and I have to be very confident in myself.
Yes.
So,
And you got to take all your gear with you.
and I have to take all
camera
my gear with me, yeah.
Yeah.
We've got, 15 minutes left, give or take.
Mm.
Do you have anything else you want to talk about in our 1 year episode?
Oh man. I don't know. It's been a crazy year.
It has.
It's been wild.
It's not been the best year to start a podcast.
Or has it? Because more people will listen to podcasts? Not really. More people just watch YouTube.
Do you want to talk about what we were doing on the way here today, then?
Oh yeah. On the way here, we took a trip down memory lane, and we're listening to the first episode, and trying to figure out the stories we were trying to tell in the first episode. And we thought it'd be a cool idea to try and retell some of them now, but with our new and improved
Competence.
Yeah, competence. Yes. So, were there any that stuck out to you that were like, wow, you told that really bad?
Yeah.
Pass rank?
My number one was I talked a lot about Adam Jepson.
Jefferson?
Jefferson. This is the
Jefferson?
exact same conversation we had in episode 1. I'm just going to say Jepson.
Okay.
And I talked a lot about him in the first episode, and I was like, wow, this is horrendous. I think it was to cross the Antarctic from side to side.
Yeah.
And he did it completely on foot, walked it, and he brought his medium format film camera, and he took all of these photos while he was traveling, and then got them developed when he got back.
Wait, he walked from side to side in the Antarctic?
I think so.
Okay.
I'd have to check that.
Because you said from like bottom of the world to the top or something.
Yeah, I probably
episode
said something
1.
really dumb.
Yeah.
It was something like that. I don't think it was the Antarctic. It might have been like Alaska or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, he walked from side to side something, and it was 467 days.
Yeah.
And he got back, and he got all these photos developed, and he was trying to figure out the best way that he could display all of these photos. And he didn't want to do it in the traditional way of printing it out really large and displaying it in a museum and having people stand at it and, feel like they're engulfed in the photo. He wanted people to feel separated. And so what he did was he printed them on rice paper, which is this really, really thin type of paper, printed them out, and then he folded them up into like a teeny tiny little square.
Yeah.
And then you unfold it, and this picture would have all of the creases and the curves and the bumps over it. And he was trying to emulate maps, is what he was trying to do by folding it. And then he would hang this up, this massive rice paper picture, and it would have all these creases. And the idea was that it keeps the people separated from the actual place. And so it's like looking at a map. In the same way that you look at a map and you recognize that that's the place and you would like to go there, that's what he was trying to do with the photos. You recognize that that's a place and it's beautiful and you want to go there, rather than feeling like you're standing in front of the image and you're already there.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That is not what I got from episode 1. That's a really interesting way of displaying that. Yeah. And interesting that he completely flipped, the norms of what he wanted people to feel like.
Yeah, exactly.
In a gallery or whatever.
Yeah. Exactly.
I like it.
We have a car coming. It's wave time.
It is wave time.
Are you ready?
Are they slowing down?
Yeah, but I think just to be courteous. Hello.
Oh, that was cool.
They were nice.
Yeah.
They were lovely.
We've just been getting nicer and nicer people.
Yeah, I'm genuinely very surprised that we've had no one be like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah. Well, I think we had that every time we go.
Yep.
Except for the time we didn't get caught, but we won't talk about that.
We won't talk about that. Oh, we should go there again.
We should. Do you want to go there this afternoon?
I'm thinking about it.
I really want to go over there with the new drone.
Yes, that'd be sick. Anyway, what's a story that you want to retell from episode 1?
Man, there was too many. I don't even know. I didn't really say very much. There was one story about, which is what the episode's called. It was about this rock star who was smashing the front of the PA system with his mic. Maybe I will tell that again because I realized that there were parts in that story that you wouldn't have understood.
No.
Okay, so there was this guy.
Should we give him a name?
We should give him a name. I'm really David is his name. And so him and his band have set up for this gig. They didn't have enough time to sound check before this concert. And I said it was a small scale band, but it really wasn't. It would have been it was a medium size. It wasn't like a stadium
So
pack out, but it was
500 to 1,500 people.
Yeah, probably. Or even a little bigger than that. And what had happened is the system that the sound engineers were using was one... sorry. Let me just try that again. See, I'm not even good at telling them now. The system that the...
Wait. We have a motorbike coming past. We have to wait.
Hold up. Is this one from earlier?
This guy looks cool. No.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
He did not seem very confident.
No.
All right, so go ahead.
So the system that the mixing desk was set up to the one that the front of house engineer was using, that was set up to a system that had 3 output channels. Well, 4. So a left channel, a center channel, right channel, and then subs. And what had happened is it hadn't been patched in properly or like configured properly to this next venue. But this venue ran only 3 channels. They had the left and a right and then sub. So they didn't have that center one. And what had happened is because they now didn't have the center one and the way they'd patched it in thinking, oh yeah, this is all fine, they completely lost anything on the desk that was still set to the center.
Right.
So what they would have done at the last gig is like they would put vocals in the center, a lot in the center, so that it was spread out from everything else in the mix, and it would have been really easy to hear. So now when they got to this new place, it was completely missing, or it would have been very, very quiet. And so David got up and he's starting to sing his first song, and no one can hear him, and he can't hear himself, and he's just told the band to stop, and he's gotten really mad at the front of house engineer, walked around the front of the PA and just starts hammering the PA system with his wireless mic. What a guy. And so that's what happened. And so the front of house engineer had to then repatch it, work out that, this one doesn't have a center channel, and that's where the vocals are sitting, so you have to do that.
Yeah.
Put it to left and right so that they could hear it.
And then he didn't destroy anything else.
No, he didn't destroy anything else.
Good lad.
I believe he just went on with the show, and then the front of house engineer probably just got mad at him at the end.
A cry.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair. So fair.
Yeah.
Let me check what time we're at. Ugh. It's not ideal, hey. All right.
Why?
It's just hard to see is all.
Oh,
Yeah. All right. Well, I reckon we'll wrap it up there.
it's pretty warm out here.
It is freaking hot.
I'm really brewing up a sweat now.
I'm very, this is such a nice view, though.
It is.
It's just so nice. I know the camera can't see it, and it's but I've put up a picture of it so you can see it. And if you're an audio listener, just go check out that section of the YouTube video.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait,
All right.
what?
Yeah, no, that made sense.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, we'll finish it up there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the past year.
Yes.
We are so thankful that people are watching and listening and partaking in our show. It really does mean the world to us that there are actually people out there listening.
Yeah.
And this show has never been about the numbers for us. It's never been about how many people are subscribed, how many people are watching. It's always been about the connection we have with the audience that we do have, as well as the connection that we have with the guests and with each other.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty cool for us to see that there are people that are listening.
100%.
And that just means the absolute world to us. So thank you so much for the past year. And we're looking forward to another year.
You said that like it was like,
well, no, I just realized that this is the year that we're going to hit 100 episodes.
True.
That's a big number.
That is a big number. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that'll be exciting.
Now, what are we going to do for that? Put it on the road.
Well, the problem is 100 is only 4 episodes away from a year.
So do we have a big 100?
Yeah, I reckon.
Do we have
But
a
we
big
also
2-year then?
We also do a big 2 year.
Which one's bigger?
100, I think.
100, yeah.
Do you have any final words to close off this 1 year anniversary?
Just thank you. You said it all. Thanks for the support and just watching it and hanging out every week. It's good. We love it.
That being said, if you do love us
Yeah.
and you like supporting us, you should support us on Patreon, patreon.com/The Froe Show. You can check out our After Froe Show episodes. It's a 15-minute show that we do after every single episode.
Yep.
And it's up there every single week at the same time, most weeks, as the main show. So if you want 15 more minutes of us, then you can go check that out over there. It would mean the world to us for you to go check it out. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching or listening to this episode of The Froe Show. That was episode 52, the 1 year anniversary.
How good.
Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Ba ba da da ba da 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 ba ba da da.